welcome to the Mud Jug 1 channel. We have a special video for you guys today. We're going to talk about some serious stuff, as you can tell by the title. I'm actually gonna, obviously, fitting for this video, I'm gonna put a dip in. I actually bought a tin of pouches the other day, guys, and just a word of advice: if your gums and your mouth are getting irritated from dipping too much, I know mine do all the time. Buy a tin of pouches, whatever flavor. You know, if you're a Grizzly Long Cut Wintergreen guy, buy a tin of Grizzly Wintergreen pouches. I never have tried the Copenhagen pouches before, and I bought a tin, and I dipped these for over the weekend, and they really seem to help my gums. The mud jug of the day would be the Confederate Camo mud jug. I do want to say that this is my own personal opinion. This video is completely my opinion. This video may be long, it may be boring, but there's going to be a lot of good information in this video. Trust me, you're going to want to watch the whole thing. If you're a dipper, if you're a smoker for sure, if you're into using any type of tobacco products, I suggest you watch the video. Now, people who are going to come across this video who are haters on nicotine, who haters on smoking, who are haters on dippers, you know, I suggest they watch it too, because maybe it'll help them with their ignorance as far as the adverse effects or lack thereof of smokeless tobacco. Society has brainwashed people, and I have a real hard time with following the mainstream society and believing what everybody believes, partly because a lot of that has to do with the media what the media feeds us and what the government feeds us. And I don't go with the grain. I'm not a pawn where I just walk around with my head up my ass and you know, believe everything that I hear. I'm a research fanatic, guys. It doesn't matter what it's about. If it's about guns, it doesn't matter if it's about religion, smokeless tobacco. I research the shit out of things because I want to find out what facts are out there and what opinions are out there, so I can base my overall opinion based on as much fact as possible. As a dipper, it bothers me that society has deemed smokeless tobacco so absolutely terrible. And that, again, is another reason for doing this video. I know there's a lot of underage dippers who watch my channel, and, you know, I don't want them going, after they watch this video, I don't want them running to their parents saying, "See, Mud Jug 1 says dip is good for you, it's not bad at all." What I suggest you do, guys, is if you're an underage dipper, I was an underage dipper, that's how I started, okay? I don't personally have anything wrong with underage dippers at all, but the problem is society does, and most parents do. And the reason why society does have a problem with underage dippers, and parents, rightfully so, obviously parents don't want their kids doing anything bad. But what's bad is going out and doing a bunch of cocaine and or drinking and driving. Worse for you than doing a couple pinches of Copenhagen throughout the day? I think so. I know this is somewhat of a catchphrase, somewhat of a phrase that you hear a lot, but, you know, pick your poison, right? Which poison do you prefer? Which poison would your parents prefer? Would they prefer you to be dipping a little Grizzly Wintergreen, you know, 4 or 5 times a day, and or would they prefer you to go out and do some heroin and overdose? I'll tell you a little story before I get into the nuts and bolts. I know I'm rambling, but I want to be very clear on this. It was 3 months ago. I was out jogging in the morning, going for my morning jog, and I found a dead body, guys. And the reason I bring that up is because the guy was 19 years old. And, you know, I had to call the cops and so on and so forth. And I live in a really good area, you know. I mean, I live in an area where you don't find dead bodies, okay? It's just not it's not going to happen. And anyway, the cops got involved, of course, because I called them, showed up, I gave them a statement, all that. But point is that the cops told me that they found heroin needles and paraphernalia, you know, right up 30 feet away from the guy. And so, again, OD'd on heroin. Well, what's worse, Copenhagen or heroin? I purchased this book, guys. This book is called For Smokers Only, How Smokeless Tobacco Can Save Your Life. And as you can see, I read through this, and you know, I highlighted and I marked pages, and I mean, I read through this with the intent to educate myself. And I came across some very good information. Now, this book was written by Dr. Brad Rodu. Now, I'll have a link down below. He has a website and he has a forum and all that good stuff. But basically, Dr. Rodu, his philosophy is that smokeless tobacco, if you're a smoker and you switch to smokeless tobacco, it can basically save your life, because smoking is so much worse for you than smokeless tobacco. And he goes in and talks about a lot of the different misconceptions about smokeless tobacco, that being oral cancer. We all heard that word, cancer, right? Dr. Rodu is actually an oral pathologist, so yes, he's a doctor, okay? And not that all doctors know what they're talking about, because I've talked to plenty of doctors who are dumbasses. I mean, they know a lot about certain things, but outside of their realm of expertise, they don't know shit. And that includes smokeless tobacco. I know a lot of dentists. I actually have a personal friend who's a dentist, and she told me, she said, look, the chances of you getting oral cancer from dipping are next to nothing. She said, as long as you take care of your teeth and you get regular checkups so we can catch anything if anything comes up, you'll be fine. So I made a list here, guys, and I'm gonna go through this, and like I said, it might be a little redundant, a little boring, but you know, I'm going to get through it in hopes that I can at least open up people's eyes regarding smokeless tobacco. Look, I'm not here to promote it, okay? I just get so many messages from people. I got a message the other day, kids like, I've been dipping for 3 weeks, and you know, I'm underage, and my parents don't know, and I got these bumps on my tongue, and I think I have cancer, man. I'm really worried. That is a prime example of how society has brainwashed people. Guys, you'll get canker sores on your tongue. They're inflamed taste buds, okay? I get canker sores on my tongue. Your mouth will get raw. It's just, take a break. Let it go. You can get canker sores and an irritated mouth from eating acidic foods, salty foods. I want to start off with a little history on smokeless tobacco, so that way you guys kind of have an idea how popular smokeless tobacco used to be, and then why it kind of just went downhill. So, in 1900, 60% of tobacco consumed was smokeless. Smokeless tobacco used to be very popular at all levels of society. Even the halls and chambers of the U.S. Congress used to contain spittoons in the 1930s. Today, 46 million people smoke cigarettes in the U.S. So what happened with smokeless tobacco use is, in 1882, a German physician discovered the bacterium that caused tuberculosis. It was discovered this germ could be carried from one individual to another through close contact. It was incorrectly postulated that spitting tobacco juices was likely the route of infection. This caused an immediate stigma on smokeless tobacco and was soon shunned in urban society. Ironically, the healthier smokeless tobacco was considered unsanitary, and cigarettes were erroneously seen as the healthy alternative. Then came the technological innovation in cigarette manufacturing. So once they started putting the taboo on people spitting everywhere, then the manufacture of cigarettes became more technologically advanced, where they could, instead of hand rolling them, they could pump them out with machines. So then it was the sky's the limit for cigarettes. Smokeless tobacco has the same amount of nicotine as cigarettes, depending on the cigarettes, depending on the dip. Some can have more or less, but generally speaking, the same amount of nicotine, okay? Although nicotine gets into your bloodstream quicker with cigarettes, smokeless tobacco nicotine remains in your bloodstream for longer periods of time. That means you won't have to use smokeless tobacco as often as you smoke. The many noxious chemicals in tobacco smoke, not the tobacco or nicotine, are the killers when tobacco is burnt. The smoke contains up to 3,000 separate chemicals. 3,000, guys. Okay? Cigarettes contain 2 to 6% carbon monoxide, depending on the cigarette. And each milliliter of cigarette smoke contains 2 to 5 billion particles of chemicals that make up the tar components of cigarettes. Remember, there's no tar in smokeless tobacco products. But isn't smokeless tobacco at least half as dangerous as cigarette smoking? The answer is a resounding no. In their zeal to convince the American public that all tobacco is evil, the anti-tobacco zealots have created the illusion that all forms of tobacco produce the same health problems. In 1992, the Surgeon General warned of a potential for the epidemic for oral cancer related to smokeless tobacco use. Well, the Surgeon General warned? Well, shit, it must be true, right? Not. This unfortunate misconception is so deeply ingrained that even many physicians do not really understand how safe smokeless tobacco is. Gum and tooth problems do not automatically follow smokeless tobacco use. There's a better bet among regular candy eaters that never brush their teeth. Up to 90% of oral cancer is due to smoking. You hear that, guys? 90% of oral cancer is due to cigarette smokes, not smokeless tobacco. The common misconception is that lung cancer is the only adverse effect of smoking. Oral cancer is wrongly associated with smokeless tobacco use. This misconception arises because tobacco makes contact with the mouth in smokeless tobacco applications. But cigarette smoke permeates the lining of the entire mouth, placing smokers at a much higher risk of mouth cancer. Many research studies have attempted to prove that nicotine causes cancer, but none have been successful. Oral cancer occurs rarely in people who do not use tobacco products. Okay? The rate is 6 cases per 100,000 per year. So 6 people out of 100,000 per year who don't use any type of tobacco products get oral cancer. Alright? In smokeless tobacco users, it's approximately 4 times that, or 26 cases per 100,000 per year. That's it. The life-saving switch to snuff should become a matter of urgent public health policy if sober analysis replaces hysteria. Think about that statement. The current mantra against smokeless tobacco is one that dismisses high nicotine products as unacceptably serious health hazards. Oral cancer is easily detectable in its early stages, while lung cancer is very difficult to diagnose before it spreads to the entire body. The remaining life expectancy for a 35-year-old smokeless tobacco user is an additional 45.92 years. 4/100ths of a year less than a non-tobacco user. A smoker's life expectancy is 7 8/10 years less. When oral cancer occurs in long-time snuff users, they are generally over the age of 70. In one of the largest studies of its kind, the rare smokeless tobacco users who develop oral cancer average 78 years of age and use smokeless tobacco for an average of 55 years. Now we're going to talk about Sweden real quick, guys. As you guys know, smokeless tobacco is huge in Sweden. A lot of people in Sweden use snus or smokeless tobacco. That's just the way of life over there. Now it says, in this book, it says this country boasts very high life expectancy. Surely, if smokeless tobacco posed significant health problems, this would not be so. Sweden has one of the lowest rates of oral cancer in the world and is way below that of the US. Smoking in terms of Medicare expenses account for 80%. Smoking in terms of Medicare expenses account for 80% of the total, with alcohol at 17% and drug abuse at 3%. They don't have a percentage for smokeless tobacco users. There's a reason for that. Medicare bills will cost Americans $1 trillion over the next 20 years, with smoking being $800 billion of it. Now let's talk about that beautiful word, leukoplakia. Man, that sounds scary, man. Man, I hope I don't get leukoplakia. That just sounds too scary for me. Oh no, not that word, right? 40 to 60% of smokeless tobacco users will develop leukoplakia. Oh shit. What does that mean? Well, while the official name sounds ominous, studies have shown over and over that these calluses hardly ever turn into something more serious. You guys ever get, the white spots, you get the gator lip? That's what they're talking about, white spots in your mouth from dipping too much. Occasionally changing the placement of your pinch can keep it from developing. Leukoplakia, that is. As an oral pathologist, Dr. Rodu has researched this issue very carefully. The risk of oral cancer among smokeless tobacco users, including those with leukoplakia, is very small when compared to the risk of oral cancer among smokers. It is almost criminal, I quote, guys, I quote, it is almost criminal to implicate smokeless tobacco as the bigger problem. While leukoplakia has been associated with smokeless tobacco use, it also occurs in smokers. But leukoplakia in smokers is much greater of a concern because they are much more likely to develop oral cancer. Ever wonder why the government doesn't do anything significant about smoking? Tobacco generated $140 billion in taxes for governments in 1992, guys. Smokeless tobacco users are not trading oral cancer for lung cancer because it's not a fair trade. We are not comparing apples to apples here, guys. You cannot compare getting lung cancer from smoking to getting oral cancer from dipping. It's not even in the same ballpark, guys. That's the point of this video. Oh yeah, well switch. Yeah, well hey man, you can switch to, you can get gum cancer instead of lung. What's the difference, man? Well, no, you're not. There's a huge difference. The last thing I want to do, guys, is I want to talk about warning labels. And if I bored you so far with this, then get off the video. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be educational. This is supposed to help people. Okay. We're going to talk about warning labels now. In the book, Dr. Rodu lists the 3 major warning labels that we typically see on smokeless tobacco. The first one is, warning, this product may cause gum disease and tooth loss. Well, really? Well, let's see what Dr. Rodu says about that. Smokeless tobacco might slightly increase the chance of damaging your gums or teeth. I can attest to the fact that it's damaged my gums, guys. My gums are receding. On my corners, they're receding. But, my teeth aren't falling out. And I've been dipping for years, guys. I started at 10, I dabbled in my teens, and dabbled in my early 20s, and I've been doing it for 15 years solid. Smokeless tobacco might slightly increase the chance of damaging your gums or teeth. More importantly, candy and other sugar-laden snack foods are better established threats to teeth and gums. Yet no such warning label is printed on the packages for those products. That's a great point, man. Number 2 is, this product may cause mouth cancer. Well, this is what Dr. Rodu said about that warning label. The anti-smoking crusaders have swung their maces at everything containing tobacco or nicotine in their well-meaning war on cigarettes. They have thrown in the word cancer to thrash smokeless tobacco as a major cause of oral cancer without looking at the statistics in a meaningful way. It's like condemning pedestrians as a leading cause of traffic accidents. That's like that saying, if guns kill people, then pencils misspell words, right? It's the same shit. And the third warning label you guys have all seen, this product is not a safe alternative to cigarettes. Guys, I've said in my videos that it is. And based on this information and other information that I've done in my research, it is a safe alternative. But Dr. Rodu says this: are automobiles safe? How about lawnmowers, aspirin, or red meat? By applying the absolute definition of safe, nothing measures up. Guys, I suggest you go out and get this book, okay? If you're a dipper and you're having issues with worrying about oral cancer, or you got somebody riding your ass because you're dipping or chewing, this is a very good piece of material. I would like to get a hold of Dr. Rodu and somehow work together. I mean, guys, yeah, I sell spittoons. Yeah, I'm in that business, but I'm an avid dipper. I'm an avid smokeless tobacco consumer. I love dipping, guys. And if I can be involved and spread the word and help people to better their health by switching from cigarettes to smokeless tobacco, then anything else that I do doesn't really matter, guys. If I can help people out, look, I help people out and I provide them with a better spitting solution, and I improve the dipping experience by supplying people with a mud jug, okay? But the bigger picture is helping people and eventually saving people's lives. That, to me, is a good cause. Do some research, guys. Look, if somebody's giving you shit for dipping, I don't care if you're 35 and you got an old lady who's giving you shit saying you're going to lose your teeth, oh, you're going to get cancer, or you got mom and dad who's giving you shit because you're 17 years old, you're underage. Just do some research. That's all you got to do. Okay? I'm not sitting here saying that you absolutely cannot get cancer, oral cancer from dipping. Okay? I've said that in my other videos. It is possible, but it is way less possible than getting cancer from cigarettes. And it is almost as impossible as not using tobacco products at all. So there you have it, guys. Once again, I continue my quest to debunk what society has deemed terrible and deemed as cancer-causing and life-threatening in this little can that I love so much. That's why I do it, guys. I'm here to help. I want people to quit worrying. If you choose to dip, if you choose to chew, if you choose to use smokeless tobacco products, why are you going to stay up at night, like a lot of people seem to do, worrying about getting cancer? You're either going to get cancer or you're not. Now, smokeless tobacco, can that increase your chances? Yeah, sure. Very small margin. How many people do you guys know who've gotten oral cancer? And I've asked that question from dipping. And I've asked that question to a lot of people. And I've asked that question in other videos. And there has been a few people who have come forward and said, I had a grandfather who had oral cancer, but he dipped for 50 years. And the doctor said it's for sure, without a doubt, from dipping. Well, okay, they're out there. Okay, few and far between. The people who have gotten oral cancer from dipping, it's hard to prove that it did come from dipping. Chances are it did. But you don't know if somebody worked in a freaking coal mine and had some longleaf plug in their cheek for 55 years and they got oral cancer. It could have been from working in a coal mine. You don't know that. Point is that it's very unlikely to happen, guys. So, as I always say, remember, if it ain't dip, it ain't shit.